Okay, another example of derivative. This time we'll take the derivative of profit. Profit in dollars of a paint manufacturer who sells X gallon of paint as P of X equal 0.1 X squared plus 44X minus 30. So we can plug in some points and sketch the graph. We can tell it's going to be a parabola just from the because we have an X squared here. And we have, because of the negative sign, it's going to be a parabola opening down. So we can put in some values and plot the points. And let's see if we can compute the derivative. P prime of x is going to be the limit as h goes to 0 of p of x plus h minus p of x over h. So that's the limit h goes to 0 of so in the formula for p of x, instead of an x, you want to write x plus h, so you'll have minus 0.1 x plus h squared plus 4 times the quantity x plus h minus 30. I'm kind of running out of room here, but it'll be minus plus, I'll change the sign, plus 0.1 x squared minus 4x plus 30. Okay, and this whole thing is over h. So this numerator is p of x plus h, and the denominator is minus p of x. Okay, I mean not the second three terms, not the denominator, minus p of x. So it's okay. So the plus 30 and the minus 30 will cancel. So this, and we can distribute the 4 and expand also the 1 plus h squared. So this will equal to the limit as h goes to 0 minus 0.1 x plus h plus 4x plus 4h plus 0.1 x squared minus 4x all over h. I'd like to put them on one line, but I was running out of room. So minus 4x and 4x will cancel, and we can distribute the x and distribute the h here. So we'll get, that'll give us limit h goes to 0 of minus 0.1 x squared plus 2xh plus h squared plus 4h plus 0.1 x squared all over h. Okay. When we expand this, that x times x squared, the outer product is going to be xh, the inner product is xh. That'll give us 2xh, and then last times last, h times h is h squared. X times x is x squared, outer product xh, inner product xh, gives us 2xh, last times last, h times h is h squared. Okay, so then we can distribute the leading coefficient here, the minus 0.1, and that will give us the limit as h goes to 0, minus 0.1 x squared minus 0.2 xh minus 0.1 h squared plus 4h plus 0.1 x squared all over h. Okay, so then we can cancel the minus 0.1 x squared and the 0.1 x squared, and we can distribute the denominator. So this will give us the limit h goes to 0, 0.2 xh over h minus 0.1 h squared over h plus 4h over h. H's will cancel here, one of the h's will cancel there, the h's cancel there, and that'll give us the limit as h goes to 0 of 2x minus 0.1h plus 4. And now we can take the limit. Before we cancel out the h on the bottom, we're going to have indeterminate form. We have 0 over 0. But now that we've canceled the h's on the top and bottom, there's just one h left on the top. We can put in a 0 there. So if you plug in 0 there, we get 2x minus 0.1 times 0 plus 4. So it's going to be 2x plus 4. So that's the that's p prime of that, the derivative. That gives us the slope at each for each value of x. The rate of change in the profit when x is 0. So p prime of 0. So 2 times 0 plus 4 would be $4 per. I guess it's gallons of paint per gallon. $4 for each gallon of paint sold. So that's the increase in profit there. So that's sometimes called the marginal profit for selling the first gallon of paint. That's the economics term. Marginal profit. Rate of change when the profit is 10. So p prime of 10, 2 times 10 plus 4 is going to be 24. I think I left. Doing something wrong here with my sign. This is it should have been 0.2. Minus 0.2. So it should have been a minus 0.2. I have the wrong. I copied down the wrong sign here. This is a should have been a minus 0.2 here. Okay, so this is going to be a minus 0.2 times 10. So it's going to be minus 2 plus 4, which would be $2 per gallon. Okay, and the rate of change when the profit is 20. So that would be the marginal profit when they get up to 10 gallons. When the x is 20, p prime of 20 is minus 0.2 times 20 plus 4, and that's going to be minus 4 plus 4, which is 0. So the marginal profit there is 0. So that's actually at the point where you probably want to avoid selling more gallons of paint. That's because you're not making any profit, marginal profit at that point. That's actually the it's going to be, it corresponds to the peak profit. So if we look at the graph, at 20 gallons of paint, that's actually the peak profit. There's reasons why the profit might decrease. Maybe you have to pay overtime or something for, and so your marginal profit starts to go down. So initially you have an overhead cost of $30. This is your overhead cost, and this is this term here. As it gets bigger, that term becomes bigger, and it might be might represent maybe a loss of efficiency if you're maybe your facilities can't easily handle a lot of paying at once, or maybe maybe you have to pay overtime. So that's sort of that term there is a loss of efficiency, and this is the profit per gallon, at least at time initially. Okay, so that concludes this presentation.